Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Solution with you again. Mix along session. So let's dive right into it. So I have this track here. It is called Home. It's a track. It's recorded at Lloyd Studio actually. But the title of the music actually is Home. So I'll drop a link to the music and I'll drop it in the description below. So just go over there and check it out. Where to download the just go over there, check it out, download the stem file so you can actually follow this session. So everything actually in the entire stem file is just 10. So nothing much, nothing too aggressive, just 10 tracks in total. And in the tracks, in the track file, you'll find there are two files there, which is the home instrumental mix and then the home mix. Home mix has the vocals in it, home instrumental mix only has the home mix. Then you have the home mix. So just think of them as a guide for use when you're mixing it. But for this one, I'm leaving them there actually, but you're also going to use them as guide basically. So basically, I have what I have here. I have piano, I have guitar main, I have guitar overdubs, I have a melodia, which is most. This is going to be keys. So okay, background vocals and yeah. Okay, overhead. This drum overhead. I have floor tom. I have lead vocals. So first things first, I'm going to just rearrange them to suit my need. For me first, I'm going to bring those vocals down. I'm taking the vocals down first, bringing all the vocals down. Then I'm going to have the drums ahead. Above, so my drums that I have here right now for this particular music, I only have the floor tom and overhead. I'm only working with the floor tom and the overhead, no snare drum. Oh, hold on, let me listen. Okay, there's a snare in the overhead, but it is not really. Okay, so for the drums, they actually just did two microphones here. Oh, that's what I'm actually seeing in the file basically. Two microphones, the floor tom and then the overhead microphone. Let me confirm that quickly. Let us do a confirmation on that quickly. And so, head over to desktop, stems. I'm going to be having, yeah, this is it. I just want to confirm if the snare drum is actually there. Maybe I wasn't the one to put it in, that didn't bring it in. So it is not there. It is not there. It is not there. So lead vocals, piano. So the snare drum file is not in this item at all. It's not in this item at all. So moving on. So we have drums first. We have piano, guitars. Actually, I prefer to do my piano last. That's just me actually. I prefer to bring in the pianos last. So typical me, I prefer my guitars, and that is the bass and electric guitar to come in first. Then I bring in my piano and I bring in my pads and synth just to fill up the space. That way I can treat them well before, because when it comes to pads, they tend to fill up the area. That is the actually job. That's the job that they tend to fill up the music to make it sound less empty. So if you are bringing it in first before bringing in the keys, you might you might not really get the precision you want, especially if you are mixing all together like you do in a live mix. So I'm done with this arrangement now. I'm going to head over to my mix, and okay, I'm taking off instruments, this particular place, and I'm just going to take off this particular channel. I don't need those two. What I need is just these guys. So as usual for this music, it's not too loud, so I'm just going to drop everything by -5 dB, -5 decibels. Yeah, -5 decibels work for me perfectly on this guy. So what next? I'm gonna group. So I'm just gonna do grouping, 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 and I'm just gonna do Control Shift Alt P. That is it for what I'm using here. Ctrl Shift Alt P. For you to do it manually, actually, let's do it for guitar. I select, and I hold on to my Shift. What's that? I hold on to my. That's kind of weird. Okay, hold on to my Shift and arrow. Yeah, and down arrow, Shift and down arrow. So what I'm just covering right now is just guitar. Now I only have two guitars here right now. So just right click and head over to pack folder. So that's it. My own short code for this is Control Shift plus Alt P. It might be different for you, but this is the way to do it manually. So if you are on Studio 1.5, you most likely won't have this there, which means you have to do it manually, or head over to your Studio One, press French shortcuts and change the setting over there. Okay, so path folder, then harmonica, then keys. Now the keys I only have one, so I'm going to stretch it up. It's most likely, yeah, it's stereo. It's in stereo format already. So I'm just going to harmonica. Okay, let's just do this. Let's do this way. I'm going to open this guy now. This is, I believe this was, what was in here? Track 1, that was drums basically. So we're going to name this file as drums. Then I'm going to come over here and add a bus channel. Then for this one, I'm going to change it to, and yeah, guitars. Just make it guitars. Then come over here to add a bus channel. Then I'm going to select from guitars all the way to my piano. So there are not much. I don't really need to create folders for every single detail here. So I'm just going to do Ctrl Shift Alt P. And I'm going to make it tonals. I love grouping tonals. By the way, for me, tonals are anything that can play tones, basically. So as long as the musical instruments can play tonic solfege, basically do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Sorry about that. And so as long as the instruments can actually play tonic solfege, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, a run a scale or anything like that, it belongs in tonals. That is how I adapt. That's how I work. So for drums, I'm going to code it to red. Tonals, I'm just going to do typical, just do great. Now, the reason why this guy doesn't change is because it is a folder on its own. So you have to go over there to change it to by itself. So once you change the color on the folder, every item in that folder is supposed to change. But right now, this is a subfolder. This guitar is a subfolder, so you have to also go and do it individually on it. You have to enter your folder, go to the subfolder, and basically do it. Then automatically, everything on that it also changes to the color you want. Okay, for my I'll leave my vocals in blue. I'll leave them in blue, so that works for me. This works for me. Now, next thing, panning. Panning is next. I'm gonna just go over to mix, and for me, let's see. Right now there's no bass drum, there's no bass guitar. In case you haven't noticed so far, all we have here is just we have two guitars. We have this one here, acoustic guitar, and we have this another guitar, also an acoustic guitar. That is two different acoustic guitars. So no bass guitar in this place. So, and we have this guy here. This is a floor tom actually, but it is giving us the bass vibe. That bass that. So it's kind of replacing the kick for me. It's replacing the kick. So basically, I'm just going to leave it at the center. For this purpose, I'm just going to leave it at the center. And for this overhead now, let's listen. Let's come on. Because I believe I could hear a bit of snare earlier in it with the cymbals. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm just going to expand the view. So to expand the view, you have to do just hold on to Shift then E. Shift and E to expand. Then if you want to undo that, just hold on to the same Shift then W. So I'm looking for is the symbols, but that's to do with the overhead. Oh yeah, I'm not actually hearing that part right now. Okay, so the overhead I'm actually hearing right now is speaking more of the snare drums. And as we all know, when it comes to the panning spectrum itself, when it comes to the width spectrum or panning spectrum, or however you want to call it, it is majorly, you have the toms, you're going to have the anything low end in the center, which I'm doing with my floor tom here. Then you have the snare drum also at the center. So that means these two here are not changing for the drums. They are not changing in terms of panning, they are not changing at all. So for my guitars now, on the tonals for my guitars, I have two guitars, right? So let's solo both of them from beginning. Let's see what they, let's see. Okay, so I have a main guitar. Okay, it's ready written there. So guitar main and guitar overdub. So since it's ready written for me, yeah, then second guitar come on here. Good. So the second guitar comes in ready. So it's just kind of filling up, just a few fill of nothing too aggressive. So for me then the main guitar would come to the right. Now I'm not doing a full on panning. And add a full on panning, or let's say a add panning to the left or right, it basically means that I'm basically dragging this guy over here, which once I play now, if you're on your headphones, you'll hear this guy, this particular guitar, only on the right, nothing on the left. And if I do it this way, you only hear it on my left, not on the right. So I want to avoid that for this. I'm not doing left and right. So what I'm going to just do is that it is the main guitar, right? I don't want it too much on the center too, because I'm going to be having other things in the center. I'm going to be having other things in the center. For example, the kick is already in the center, the snare drum is at the center, right? Now I could decide to actually put this guitar at the center, making it kind of a mono mix entirely, but we want to keep it stereo, so just open it up. We still have the keys already stereo. Yeah. What is the vocal is staying at the center? The main vocal will be staying at the center. So what I'm gonna do for this guy right now is I'm gonna just do a right. Yes, I'm gonna do a right, but let's do right for the 5 for now. So what this does is that, okay, no, right for the 5. Studio 1 has a range of 100% basically. So right for the 5 is too small. So let's do a right 60. So by doing this, what it means that it is more on the right, but you can also hear it on the left. So let's play. Now, mind you, if I was just working with a vocal and a guitar, that is, if it was an acoustic session, just a vocal with an acoustic guitar, what I'm going to be doing is just leaving both of them at the center. It's going to be typically a mono mix, not a stereo mix. So, but for this purpose, what I'm doing right here, I already have my drum and the snare filling up the mood center. So I just want to spread out things a bit. So now I'm going to be doing something, the same thing with this guy, the second guitar, but I'm going to be doing it to the left. So to be L60. So same idea. That way, whenever you're listening, whenever a consumer is listening on their earphones or stereo playbacks, what they get to hear is they can hear both guitars from the right, and they can also hear both of them from the left. Obviously, some will be the main guitar will be more prominent on the right, and the sub guitar will be more prominent on the left, but both of them will be audible, which is what I'm aiming for here. If you can hear it well. Yeah. Okay, but I feel this guy's already a bit, so I'm just going to reduce them again. So let's do an L. Let's do L40 and also R40. Let's see how that sounds like. It's wow, but let's see how that sounds like. Okay, I feel this sounds closer to home. This sounds closer to home to me. So next one on the list here we have, okay, this is the harmonica. Yeah, this is melody, melodic as it is here. So it's not playing out through, I think. It's not playing out through. Yeah, it's going in now. Hmm. Okay, I'm leaving this here for now. Let's see how it sounds. Okay, with the piano is stereo, so. Mm. Okay, good. That's good. That's good for me. This is good for me. So obviously now these two guys, that's the lead vocal and the vocal. Like I said, I'm leaving this one in the center, but for this one we'll make the decision later on. But for now, let's listen. You know what? Let's hold on. Let's hold on. Let's hold on. Let's hold on. And let's listen back. So the game that's this guy is actually meant for reference. Let's listen actually. It's there for reference. So hold on, let's go to where the guitar is first and let's see how it sounds from there. Okay, it's typically the same thing actually, except that for what I'm hearing on the main mix here, the panning for the left and right guitar, I mean for the main guitar and the sub guitar, we're a bit more closer. That was just it. So instead of doing 40, I might have to reduce it down to, let's say, 25. To 25, yeah. So now the aim of this now, since we actually have a reference mix, the major aim is to make it sound close to this as possible. Now would we make it sound exactly like this? Probably not. Probably not. But the aim of this exercise is to make it sound as close as possible, especially since this actually has a reference mix. Mind you, not every multi-track you find online has reference mix come along with them. Majority don't. Majority don't. I can tell you that one for free. Majority do not have a reference mix to come along. So it is now up to you to figure out what you want to do, or go online to YouTube and listen to the initial song, the initial mix. Mind you, for you to find a track online, the song will most likely have been released already. So you can just go over to YouTube or Spotify, listen to the initial music, and use that to work on whatever you are doing. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.